Greetings gamers, welcome to part number 49 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 9, Path of Radiance, and in today's episode I have much to do in chapter 25, Strange Lands. Ranoff, whereabouts is the Gallian army encamped? Just over those mountains. So we're finally going to join forces? Reports say that King Ashtard is gathering his forces in the capital. The time to work together is certainly upon us. Ike, there's an enemy ambush waiting for us on that mountain. If we go around that mountain and avoid it, how much time will we lose? A couple of days, at least. In that case, we've no choice but to go through them, right? Agreed. Wait a second. Isn't this where there's usually some sort of discussion? Hello? Nope. I'm leading the army straight up this mountain. And then straight down.
The enemy approaches, sir. Listen up, men. Let them get as close as possible before pushing the rocks over the cliff. We must not let Crimea join forces with those subhumans.
Marhot range. Commander, the foes are encamped on the top of the rise. I wonder what sort of trap they have this time. Those boulders didn't get up there by themselves. Are they seriously going to roll them down on us? At first glance, it seems a simplistic trap, but these narrow paths makes avoiding the rocks impossible. I think they may be surprisingly effective. So... we run up the mountain as quickly as possible and smash the enemy commander, right? Right. How did you... I know, genius. Actually, that is the best plan. Try to avoid the boulders and reach the top as quickly as possible. Once there, defeat the general. Right. Move out. Is this a defeat boss chapter? I was under the impression that this was a route chapter. Definitely not bringing Lucia. Definitely not. I don't think I need Volk either. I'm going to be checking that, of course. Here is the boss. Gromol. He is a Wyvern Lord, and probably one of the most interesting in the entire series, franchise even, and that is because he's a Wyvern Lord boss in which you fight whose entirety of his gimmick is based around magical attacks. I hate this only because I wish his magic was either maxed or very close. We just got done fighting... what's-her-face, Patrine. What was that? Not even just a few chapters ago, and she had 18 magic, so I don't necessarily like that he has less. There is a good reason why that is, though. See, he has the Bolt Axe, a magic axe. Its attacks deal magical rather than physical damage. It's 10 might, 70 hit, 12 weight, 1-2 range axe. It's always magical. All the magical weapons in this game are always magical, whether up close or afar. Don't really care for this either, but I will say that it does make for some interesting dynamics that changes up the game per se with those particular weapons. Now the reason why I don't really care for it is because the games that preceded this that have physical attacks on their magical weapons up close allow for versatility with that. Now, of course, you could say, well, you don't really need versatility, you could use just a different weapon. I'll grant that. I'll totally grant that. Either way, it is a magical weapon, and because it's only 10 might, he has an attack of 26, up close or afar. Now, the reason why this boss is okay, having only 16 magic, is because he gets a big buff to his strength, skill, and speed when units' HP are at half or less. So, the strength part doesn't matter. But his skill increasing by a whopping 9 to 28, and his speed increasing by a whopping 8 to 25 is pretty significant, let alone the boss does move on this chapter. So you want to make sure that you bring him in with an applicable unit. Now, of course, there are these boulders. Each one of these boulders goes down a specific path. Like this, for instance, goes down this path, and I believe it turns here. Then it comes down here, and I think it breaks right here. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember all the paths of all these boulders. I don't particularly care, though, because I will be using the Ashira staff in this chapter. And that is just... I mean, it's just smart, right? It is honestly just a very smart idea to have the Ashira staff used for this particular fight. Granted, I do have to be very careful with Mist. I think it would be best if she took the silver sword in my convoy and equipped that so she has an other weapon to use. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and reposition here. And of course, I want my slower moving units to go first. Now, I did not continue to check, but I do believe besides the boss's elixir, yes, there is a physic. I was thinking there was. There is a physic to the right. So actually, I could steal both that physic and the boss's elixir pretty easily. So I will bring Volk. Put him obviously in the back. Move my units around. Mist will go... I mean, she does have a Titania support, so I think this is a much better plan here. Yes, and I think this will be fine. Raysen's going to go with the right route, only because that will help me with Volk's stealing shenanigans. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So the Ashira staff basically turns this chapter's gimmick into a worthless one. And I'm not saying that to be mean or to say that I hate the gimmick, because I don't hate the gimmick. I actually think it's quite fun. Is it good? No. It is something that you can virtually totally avoid, and it just doesn't matter. Now, there are a couple of stone hoists, so these are interesting. I don't think we fought these at all. No, we did fight these on the Riven Bridge. You know, they attack one unit, do a pretty decent amount of damage, and then attack all the adjacent units. Ooh. Why does he have -2 movement? It's because it's a trail, isn't it? Oh, well. That's actually super unfortunate, because that kind of means that Tyronio is not going to be that useful for this fight. He would be a great candidate for the boss, or taking out the boss. But in all honesty, I decided that somebody like Titania would be a little bit better for that, better suited. And I can move you here. Doesn't at all matter if Tormod KOs this feral unit, because I'm going to be KOing him with good old Daein. Might as well waste that last use of that Killer Lance. You know, in games where the weapons break, it is far and away easier to use your final uses of a weapon, because even though, yes, they go away mid-combat, it's still... and you don't get, like, the extra attacks. Like, for instance, in Thracia, if you only have a one-use weapon, you go into combat, you can proc Astra, you can proc Adept, all of that such nonsense, and it'll be just peachy keen, basically. I do not remember if the boulders can KO. If they can, it's probably a good idea not to put a unit who can be KO'd by them. So each boulder that is slung your way does 10 damage fixed to every unit in the line. And that's not great. Yeah, Tyronio is definitely not getting resolve without some shenanigans going on in this chapter. Alright, so yes, one thing that is interesting is that the boulders don't just hurt you, they hurt the enemies, which is kind of a good thing. Because what it does is it allows for your units to have a easier time defeating some of the enemies who are affected by the boulders. Now, granted, you probably don't necessarily want every unit under the sun to get hit by the as many boulders as I have, but I am more than willing to use up an Ashira staff for this. It matters literally zero to me. I have a Hermern. I'm likely going to use the Hermern on the Ashira staff once. Only once, but still, that means I'm going to have 6 uses. Well, 5 uses out of it. Because you cannot Hermern the weapon before it breaks. Or after it breaks, I should say. Not before. Wow. Pretty decent damage. If only you had KO just a little bit more, and he would have. And Tormod should... Yes, I was thinking he should KO here. He's using Sed after all. And those are the last 2 uses of his Sed Tome. Unfortunate, but it has proved itself quite useful throughout this Let's Play. The Sed Tome has been a great boss killer, just like the namesake of the very weapon itself. Interesting, I totally forgot that on difficult mode, you actually have a flying Legu's on this chapter. There is pretty much no way that that's a thing in the lower difficulties? I mean, there could be. I don't think so, though. Alright. Killer Axe. Perfect. Delightful, in fact. Need her to move up as far as possible. So... Sonic Sword, she's literally one-shotting. That's funny. Well, I mean, of course, the Feral one had 10 less HP, but still, that's quite exceptional damage. And then, crit? Nah. Stefan doesn't know how to crit. What's kind of saddening about that is he's actually going to heal up, or get healed, I should say. Brave Bow. Wow, very nice, Shinon. So you do have to be very careful with the boss's range. You want to lure him over to the side of, obviously, that you're going to be... You are going to be using Volk to steal on. Alright, so there's only 2 boulders left on this side. There's 1 boulder here. I don't think it's going to come in handy. There's these boulders. One of these boulders goes literally straight down, so I don't know that it's going to come into effect in this next turn. And yes. I could attack with a bolting here. He does double, but do I really want to waste a bolting on that? The answer is an unfortunate no, especially because I can just fly up here and attack with the Brave Axe, which I think is a better thing to do right at this moment. And heal up Devdan. Next turn, I will be using the Ashira Staff. Yeah, somehow, some way, you have basically 60 critical, and you don't crit. Come on. Tormod is getting very dangerous over here. That Hawk should attack Shinon, though. Yeah, I wanted him to attack one of these 2 using a... Oh, wow, Killer Axe is gone. Yeah, one of those 2 using a one-range weapon, rather, so I could just get it over with. And then time to move on upward. Brave Bow. Nice crit. He was actually not KOing there. He was doing 20 times 2. Kind of unfortunate, to say the least. How much weight are you? 15? weight 16. Wait a cotton picking minute. Are you about to tell me that Daein weighs more? No way. That's insanity. It's actually really cool though, because what I can do... Okay. He weighs more. You should be able to take him. That's very strange. Some very strange things are going on right now. I've noticed this happen before in this particular game. Not sure exactly what's going on. But I'm going to smite you with a silver axe on Titania. Good shot. Okay. Let her move yet again. Mist is probably going to be my next target for Racing. Ashira Staff. It does have a semi-unique animation. So it does heal all HP as well as all status of all of your teammates, including the staff wielder. This is something I always found very strange about Fortifies and stuff of that nature, is that they do not, under any circumstances, heal the user. I don't even think the Sacred Twin Staff of Sacred Stones heals the user. Don't really know why that is. Now, granted, don't quote me on that. I don't know if Latona actually does not heal the user. Yeah, so there is a ballista. Yeah, pretty decent damage to Racing. Obviously, I'm going to heal him up with Mist. Wow, she missed twice? That's incredible. Okay. Very surprising that Titania missed twice there against that. I mean, obviously, you know, weapon triangle disadvantage and all. But still. I'm going to be KOing the ballista user with the bolting. That is something I find to be a mite bit more useful. And Mist is fully healed. Nice. Alright, these guys are kind of a bit of a pain. I did not set up my units for dealing with them necessarily. Perfect. Heal up Daein. I'm going to put Ike here. And I'm going to put Shinon here. That should be a relatively good positioning. Alright, so I think they have not necessarily the same range. I do have to be very careful concerning where I put Racing, because this guy also has a bow. He will actually just go up and attack him. And then I'm going to KO you and move Titania back out of the way. And then I'm going to take on you. Very nice, Stefan. You learned what a critical hit can do. I appreciate that, actually. Yeah, so this is a route chapter. I was definitely under the impression that this was not a defeat boss chapter, as the beginning intro made it out to be. Like, if we go up there and defeat the boss, everything's going to be all hunky-dory. That's not what's going on here, that's for sure. All right. That was... I mean, it was okay, but it was not necessarily what I wanted. I was hoping that I could get Titania within the range of the boss. I believe she's the only character I have right now who is in the range of the Ballista, though. Yep, Shinon making good use of that Brave Bow, taking out some units. Okay, Geronio's in the range. That's nice. Especially given the fact that he's not at all threatened by the Ballista. Vantage coming in handy. And yeah, was not expecting Geronio to necessarily double there. Even with the speed wing I gave him, he still does not have necessarily great speed. It's good. Alright, so these guys are doing exactly what I assumed, which was going and attacking Shinon up close. I actually kind of figured that the Wyvern Lord with the short spear would have done that, but he didn't, which is very strange. And I mean very strange. Alright, so we have to keep you in mind. I kind of would like to draw him here, because then I could attack him with several units. Not just necessarily my ranged units. Then again, no, Mist does have that handy, nifty, super great Sonic Sword. Actually, that's a really great idea. The problem is he's going to be... Well, he's going to be right here or here. I should still be able to steal from him right there. I should be able to. Alright. "27 times 2. Titania is definitely taking out this halberdier.
He wishes he could take on the might of good old Titania.
If I were to shove you... Nice. Steel. Physic. Of course, I have to move back as far as I possibly can with Racing. We do not want that Ballista doing anything to my very important unit here. So I will put you here. I'm also going to put you here. I would call this a pretty well darn perfect formation. And that's actually kind of nice that Geronio used his wish list there. I was wondering how he attacked at range. And I did not remember or recall using or equipping that. I must have... No, I attacked somebody with it. That's what happened. Okay. So, I don't want you going back and getting healing. I'll put you there. Ike needs experience points, of course, as always. The boss KO would be nice to give Ike. I mean, really. But it's not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal at all.
El Thunder slung your way.
And then I'll be able to move Daein out of the way and KO the other Wyvern Rider. So that situation wasn't nowhere near as bad as I was immediately thinking it was going to be. And the reason why was because I figured I was a little bit out of position. But it turned out not being such. So, you know, everything's all good. Considering that there's plenty more experience points to gain in this game, I do not necessarily think that giving this boss to somebody who doesn't need the experience points, when she herself has the best chance of dealing with him, is just all in all a good thing.
So you've made it this far, have you? Then prepare to be sent down screaming.
Man, that was the literal worst possible place he could have gone. Oh, you hit one unit with that. And he is already low. So, yeah, this is not good. I'll heal you up. Yeah, not good at all, honestly. Alright. I can still salvage this. For certain. Alright, perfect. Now I can just move around with these units. Yeah, that was a very unfortunate misplay there, but I wasn't considering that he could move in that particular way, so I wasn't even thinking that was a thing. So unfortunately, that was just something that I learned the hard way. That's basically all I can say about that. Not quite. I don't want to go into the boss's range either in order to use that bolting. So that's gonna be my turn. And yes, this guy has a Purge Tome, which isn't that threatening of a move, honestly, because most of the light magic users in this game have such poor, absolutely abysmal magical attack. And of course, Shinon takes the brunt of that ballista force. I will have to heal up Rayson very shortly here. A stray physical hit can pretty well KO him even at max health, as long as said enemy has either effective weaponry or anything of the sort. Ooh, that tiger is coming my way. Perfect. I want to KO him with Ike. Spear. Very nice, Shinon. Saving a use. Always appreciated. Wow, 10 magic. 10 magic. Come on, Shinon. Get something better than magic. I don't even remember if his magic growth is all that good. I think it is pretty decent. And it's just such a shame because this game has no magical bows to speak of. And a level up for Daein. He is going to be level 14. Pretty decent. Getting some extra defense is always good, though he does need more than just defense, that's for certain. Alright, so Ike does have the Legu's Guard, so what you're seeing here is not the half damage. This guy is only going to do 6 damage to Ike. I think it might be rounded up. In that case, he's going to do 7. Nice! That is part of the reason why I did upgrade the noble sword to have some crit on it because I thought that that would be remotely useful, and it's turning out that I was right. Okay, so now I can go ahead... again, this is one of those instances, and I know probably people are tired of this instance happening, but because I did not train Volk and I have no desire to train Volk, I cannot steal his elixir. It's silly that I keep making this mistake, but it happens. Ooh, he has a crit chance on Stefan, and if he actually got that crit, ooh. We're talking about a very seriously bad situation here. That was guard. Luckily for me, it wasn't corrosion. 13. Well, that's kind of a problem. He does not have very much hit here. I guess I can try it, but man, is it not... Okay, nice, nice.
Gather as many fools as you like. Your weakness cannot survive. No one on this earth can withstand the might of our king.
Perfect. Volk, you can stay back here. I don't even know why I'm doing this, because she can reach anywhere with that good old staff. And then chant for these three, because they need to go up and help with dealing with all the rest of the units. Yeah, this guy is still active. Definitely don't want to be within his range. And that is my turn. This chapter is getting very close to being done. Ike, I only have a few more chapters left to go before Ike is going to need to deal with his fateful encounter. So the reason why that's important to mention is because I'm going to have to make sure that he gets just enough experience points pretty much to either cap out his strength and speed or cap out his level in general. Nice little bit of damage there. But not enough. Now, with all that being said, though I hate to part on such a wonderful note, being that this chapter is nearly completed, and I'm excited about that, I do want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.